everyone and welcome to my author discussions video. This month I'm going to be discussing Roald Dahl. Author discussions is a video that I do each month about an author that I've either read a lot of books off but not everything, or maybe an author that I want to start reading, and it just gives us all a chance to interact with each other in the comments and discuss what we have or haven't read, what we think we should read next. So this week I want to talk about Roald Dahl, and if you've never read a Roald Dahl book, what on earth have you been doing with your life? There are so many Roald Dahl books, and the ones that I've read have all been absolutely amazing. The first Roald Dahl book I ever read was the BFG. So, according to my list that I've made, I have read 12 Roald Dahl books, and I did a little hunting around for different Roald Dahl books, and I found 17 titles, plus many more, that I definitely haven't read. To think that I've not even read half of Roald Dahl's works depresses me a little bit, and this is something that I'd really like to fix at some point. So the first book I want to mention that I have read by Roald Dahl is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I can't find my copy anywhere, so here's the sequel that I'm going to hold up, because the second book I'm going to talk about is Charlie and the Great Glass Elevator. So if you're not familiar with this story, then you clearly haven't seen one of the good couple of films floating around about this. Johnny Depp was in one in more recent years, and it's just about a boy who wins the chance to go around a chocolate factory, essentially. That is the story in mega brief. And I really enjoy these two. I've not read them in so many years, and I'm gonna have to definitely give them a reread. I highly recommend these if you've by some miracle never read or seen the films. If you don't really like reading children's books so much, definitely watch the film, because it's, even the old one, I can't think how old it is, but even the old one's like amazing to watch. Even now, it just doesn't age. And so the second book that I have read by Roald Dahl is Matilda. Again, if you haven't read this one, what? Go and read it right now. Or again, go and watch the film. There is a really great film of this. Can't think who was in it. I'm really not a film person, to be honest, but it's fantastic and I highly recommend it. This follows a little girl who has the worst parents in the world. They are awful, and she has to teach herself to read, and she's a right little bookworm, as we can see by the picture, and it just follows her adventures as she goes to school and that sort of thing. And it sounds quite dull from the sort of description I've just given you there, but it's amazing. It's such a heartwarming story. Then we have James and the Giant Peach. It's definitely been several years since I've read this one. I can't even remember an awful lot about it, other than to say that it's about a boy called James and he ends up on a giant peach. I can't remember it at all. I've read it a couple of times, but it's been so many years now. It wasn't one of my favourite ones, this one, but all Roald Dahl books are at least to some sort of level of standard of amazing. This one just wasn't quite as amazing as some of the others, so I highly recommend this one. Then we have the BFG. As I mentioned, I think this is the first Roald Dahl book I ever picked up, and I've got so many amazing feelings for this book. It's really worn out. I've read it so many times. And it's worth me quickly mentioning as well that they're often got beautiful illustrations in. That's just a picture of the BFG there, as an example. And the BFG stands for Big Friendly Giant, and this follows a little girl called Sophie as the BFG plucks her out of bed and takes her to a land of giants, and everything sort of follows on from there really, and it's an amazing, creative, exciting little adventure for children to read, and I'm sure that grown-up children such as myself would still enjoy it to this day. Then we have The Witches. This was one of my favourite Roald Dahl films as a child. I remember finding the film really creepy actually, and it's been so many years since I've watched it. I kind of want to just go and watch it when I finish recording this now, to be honest. This book has witches in it, and I know that sounds a really obvious thing to say, but it almost follows the story in the sense of as if we're in a real world and there's witches hidden in there. So as a child I got really carried away with this idea and actually started looking at people thinking, are you a witch? Are you a witch? And it was such an enjoyable book. I can't remember very much about it other than that really evil witch woman there. being the leader of the witches, and the film's really quite gruesome because they walk around like they're these normal women, and then they get into this group witch meeting thing and they just start taking all their hair and their masks and everything off, and they turn into these gruesome witches. And it's just a really fun book and film. Those are all the books I can currently find that I own. I definitely have more, it's just a case of where have I put them. So more books that I have read by Roald Dahl and really enjoyed are The Twits. I can't remember much about this one, but that was definitely a good one. Then we've got Fantastic Mr. Fox, George's Marvellous Medicine, Danny the Champion of the World, The Magic Finger, and of course Revolting Rhymes, and they are all really fantastic. I highly recommend them, I love them. But now I'm going to go on to the ones that I haven't read and I'd really quite like to read. If any of you have read any of these books, maybe let me know whether they're worth me picking up. I'd assume they are with being Roald Dahl, but so many books, a little time, etc, etc. I could do with some sort of priority order of these really. So there's a few recipe books in this pile, by the way. I thought that maybe they'd be quite fun to try. So if you've tried baking any of the recipes out of any of these books either, then let me know, because I'd quite like to get into baking a bit more and some of these might be quite fun to do. So we've got Roald Dahl's Revolting Recipes, The Roald Dahl Treasury, The Best of Roald Dahl, Roald Dahl's Book of Ghost Stories. That sounds like it could be really good. Boy Tales of Childhood. If I remember correctly, that one's an autobiographical one by him. That one would be really interesting. I don't know why I never got around to picking that one up. SEO Trot, The Wonderful Story of Henry Sugar and Six More, Going Solo, The Giraffe and the Pelly and Me, The Enormous Crocodile, My Uncle Oswald, Tales of the Unexpected, Switch Bitch, Roald Dahl's Cookbook, Skin and Other Stories, Kiss Kiss, The Landlady, and then any after that are just little short stories that I saw knocking around on Goodreads. As I said, I've not even heard of some of these. It's highly likely that I'm maybe missing out on something really amazing. So if you'd like to recommend any of those to me down below, or if you've read several and know what order I should pick them up in, that is even better. So in the comments below, you've got your instructions for what you should recommend to me. Let me know what your favourite Roald Dahl books are, even overall. Let me know if you've never read a Roald Dahl book and you've actually sat through this video and you've thought, wow, I'm really missing out here. I'd really love to know. The lighting is going very quickly, so I'll end this video here. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to see more bookish videos from me, book reviews, more author discussions, that kind of thing. If you want to be friends with me on Goodreads so you can stalk what I read, then I have got a link down below to my Goodreads account. You feel free to friend request me there. You can follow me on Twitter if you want to see what I'm reading, if you want to see what I'm reviewing, if you want to just follow what I'm doing in my everyday life. Or you can check out my blog, and I'll see you very soon. Bye bye.